All right, welcome back to another episode of the Stitch Method. I'm very excited to do this particular lesson. This lesson came from a lot of student requests about, really getting a handle on all things minor jams, how to improvise over and feel comfortable. So what I did was I came up with a one-sheet guide to kind of mastering a minor jam. This is kind of like the core fundamentals. From there, it will branch out, but you can get a ton of knowledge and performance from what we're about to do. And so the way this is going to work is I want to explain a couple things. Number one, you can do this over any minor jam. We're going to be using pentatonics, which means you can do it over a minor jam, a Dorian jam, or a Phrygian jam, because pentatonics don't have any modal responsibility, so they're going to sound perfect over any type of quote-unquote minor jam. So whatever jam you can come up with that you want to jam on, it's going to work. The one I'm going to be using is going to be an F-sharp minor jam for any of my Fish fans out there. Again, I love this jam. It's going to be from Mike's song. It's a standard F-sharp minor. And you'll hear the loop. And so I'm going to be doing this in F-sharp minor. And you can follow along, and you can do this in any key jam that you want, as long as it's minor. So let's get right down to it, is what I'm trying to say. The way we're going to treat this is you're going to be kind of like a conductor on a train. Now, I'm going to need to talk through this a little bit before we get to it. So when I grew up on Long Island, where there was the LIRR, and I haven't been on a train in such a long time, but you used to sit down, and the conductor used to come, and they used to stamp your little ticket. And it's kind of like the same thing how we're going to work like this. You're going to be the conductor. You're going to walk into a car. You're going to look around, see the train car. You're going to see the new people that are on the train, and you're going to punch their ticket, pay attention, make sure everything's punched, and then you're going to move to your next car. And what the heck do I mean by that? But the way this is going to work is we're going to use two pentatonic shapes, and we're going to blend them together, and we're going to use caged chord stuff, arpeggios, everything. I promise. Here we go. So the first thing we're going to need, and I'll show you a brief example, is you're going to need the Form 1 pentatonic for F sharp minor, which would be right here. So it's 2-5, 2-4, 2-4, 2-4, 2-5, 2-5. Now this is your car, your train car, and you want to know this quite well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my distortion on and press this loop, and you might have noticed I've gotten a new guitar. Thank you, Fred. We'll talk about that in another video. And I'm just going to use this pentatonic. Let's see what it sounds like. I can sit with that all day. All right, so that is your number one weapon of choice, the pentatonic. Again, go back to the conductor analogy. We're in this train. We're looking around, making sure everything's secure. Pentatonic, perfect. All right. So how do we utilize this pentatonic? Now, one thing that I have alluded to on my channel, maybe, but you want to know that every time you play a Form 1 pentatonic, anytime you play the Form 1 pentatonic, this minor chord shape is built into it. This E minor chord shape, you can check it out from my minor cage chord system. If we look at the intervals of a minor pentatonic, it's 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. This is all on the chart, the one sheet, to help you but to master through a minor blues. 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. And when you look at a minor chord, it's 1, 5, 1, flat 3, 5, 1. And so those intervals are automatically built into this shape. So anytime you play this minor pentatonic, this chord shape goes with it. All the time, 100% of the time, never not, however you want to think about it. So the first thing you want to do is we just trusted in that pentatonic. Now what you want to do is still trust in that pentatonic, and you want to really delay, stall, highlight the tones of that chord, because it's a minor jam. You have a minor chord. The root notes, the minor third, the 5 are going to sound excellent to hold on, to give a little life, to frame your phrasing around. So what you're going to look out for is me pausing on the second fret of the E, here, 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 and here. Again, it's in the chart. All right, and you can do this in any key. So let me load up that backing track again and listen for my stalls when I see my minor chord inside of my minor pentatonic. Let's see. There it is. There's one. There's another. Okay, now, everything I was doing there was, again, the pentatonic plus the chord tones of the minor chord associated with that pentatonic, the E minor shape. It's all there. Again, that's in the chart. In the chart, you have the pentatonic and you have the chord shape. Now, let's go a little bit further, and you're going to see we're going to cover a lot of ground here. What we're going to do next is we're going to look for all of those arpeggios, all of those chord tones that are built into our pentatonic. That chord is the flavor of your jam. It's a minor chord, so we're going to really focus on the ones, the flat threes, and the fives. And if you look at this chart, or if you know your pentatonic intervals really well, you can see you have the 1, the flat 3, the 5, the 1, the flat 3, the 5, the 1, and the flat 3. So now not only do I see the chord, but I also learned where other notes are of the chord, but that I can't physically play when I'm holding a chord chunk down. So that shape to me now inside this pentatonics are the 1s, the flat 3s, the 5s, the 1s, the flat 3s, the 5s, the 1s, and the flat 3s. And so now I'm going to solo again, and I'm going to try and reach out to the chord tones that I didn't explore in the physical shape. Again, just adding a little bit more color and a little bit more options to our jam. Here we go. I'm going to cut it short. You can hear how there was a lot more color. I could have kept on going, but I want to keep this short. So I started with the pentatonic, just freely, flowing through it. Then I started seeing the physical chord tones, the chord that's built inside that. Then I saw the arpeggios of all those chord tones within it. And the last thing we're going to do is talk about just the minor chord and minor jam. And we have a lot to do in this video, and I hope you're enjoying it so far. Anytime you play a minor chord in music, pretty much anytime, I'm sure there'll be people like, oh, you know what you're talking about. But you can extend it into what's called a minor 7th chord. A minor chord has 3 notes, a minor 7 has 4 notes. It's just putting a layer of frosting on top of a chord, or the proper layer. And in this case, anytime you play a minor chord, you can extend it to what's called a minor 7th. And the intervals of a minor 7th are 1, flat 3, 5, and flat 7. Now, really quickly, let's just take a look at those intervals of the pentatonic. 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and 1. Pretty much a minor pentatonic is a minor 7th chord, except you have a 4 with it. So now, on the chart that I have, you have now what you can do is you can add that flat 7 to give what I call the minor 7th zing. That minor 7th is a great note to hold on to. It really wants to pull to the 1. Here, let's just show you. As I hit the microphone, right? There's the chart here, and so there it is. There's the arpeggios, and so you can study this, and you can now do what you're doing, and all the notes, the 1s, the 3s, the 5s, the flat 7s become like juicy tones to hold onto as you're soloing, to say something, to pause. So now I'm gonna, if you look on that chart, you have the 1, the flat 3, the 4, the 5, the flat 7, the 1, the flat 3, the 5, the flat 7, and the 1. And so now I'm really going to try and utilize all those chord tones, holding them, and really experiencing the sounds they have to offer. So here we go. Okay, so you can hear what I'm doing is I'm experimenting more and more. We started with the pentatonic. You kind of, that conductor in the car, you looked in and everyone's in the car, cool. And then you started punching the tickets of the people who needed to be the tickets punched, which are those minor arpeggios. And then you discovered some other people, oh, okay, this guy here I didn't realize. And you're adding more and more chord tones. And once you do that, you start to realize that you have the power to layer your soloing. Start off in a simple pentatonic, add more and more arpeggios, listen to what those arpeggios do. Now, we are nowhere near done. Okay, so that will be in the form 1. And then what I want you to do is when you kind of, want to move forward, you want to take your never lost pentatonic, and I hope that everyone watching understands that never lost pentatonic. I will link it below. You're going to use the never lost to transverse from the form 1, again in the chart, to the form 4. You're going to go from form 1 to form 4. And the reason you want to do the form 4 next is because it takes you sonically away from the area down here and introduces a lot more higher chord tones. Now in this chart, it shows you your never lost path. Again, the chart is not an F sharp. The chart can be used in any key. And so you're going to get to your F sharp or your form 4. And let's go over that. So in my jam, I'm going to turn my distortion off because my guitar is humming. All right, so here you have form 4. For F sharp, the full form 4 pentatonic, follow me, is going to be 9, 12, 9, 12, 9, 11, 9, 11, 10, 12, 9, 12. All right, and there's your pentatonic. And now I've moved up to a higher register. And the same thing, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get to this form 4. I'm going to just use the pentatonic. So I'm going to try and show you what it's like when I go from the form 1 through the never lost up to the form 4. Quick note, quick special side note, I should put up something like flashing here. When you take the never lost, this note right here, and it's marked in the chart, you can get your middle finger there. And once you put your middle finger there, you're in the form 4. You don't necessarily have to come down to the root note. You can kind of and get into your form 4 right there. And that's a trick that a lot of professional players do. They usually don't come down. They'll come up, replace, and get their hand back into a form 4 shape. So watch for that move. Okay, so I went from form 3 to a form 4. And so let's see if I can kind of do this rather quickly. I am going to rush it for the sake of not, having a 3-hour video, but let's see what we can do. Over there. All right, so now you can see that move. I'm going to keep all my screw-ups in. Don't care because it works. All right, so I'm at form 4. So I discussed the form 4 pentatonic. Let's look a little bit deeper. Let's punch the ticket to the people who are new. This form 4 pentatonic always goes with the A minor shape. Again, if you need help with my minor cage chord system, you can look it up on my channel. But anytime you play this A minor shape chord, looking, it'd be 9th fret of the A, then 11, 11, 10, 11, this guy. Anytime you play this shape chord, the form 4 pentatonic can go with it. And anytime you play a form 4 pentatonic, the A minor shape goes with it. So we're looking at those physical chord tones. Again, the chart has it, okay? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the solo from the form 4 pentatonic and I'm really going to sit and kind of focus on those chord tones and hang on them, say something with them, like punch people in the face with them. Here we go. Sorry, I could have too much fun with that. So that works. Okay, so you have your pentatonic. Now we're focusing on the minor arpeggios. Next thing to do is the full minor arpeggios, all the 1s, all the 3s, all the 5s. Again, right in the visual chart so you can learn this step by step. In this case, we have, we have the 5, the 1, and you can see it. So I know you're trying to learn off the video, but I'm not trying to sell you that chart, but the whole entire lesson is about this one sheet. And so I'm working off of it. Here we go. So you have a 5, a 1, a flat 3, a 5, a 1, a flat 3, a 5. And so not a lot of new notes, but we definitely have this guy and this guy. So now I'm going to focus on those. Am I soloing a little bit more? Let's see what we can do. Color. Okay, there we go. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull in, just like we do with the form 1, we're going to start to introduce those minor 7th chord tones. And now is when it gets really cool because, again, that minor pentatonic is pretty much a minor 7th chord if you just don't play the 4 in it, like the 1, flat 3, 4. If you can play it, but if you don't hang on it. And so now the last chart on that form 4 has the 5, the flat 7, the 1, the flat 3, the 5, the flat 7, the 1, the flat 3, the 5, and the flat 7. It has everything so, you can sit now and really focus on all of those chord tones and realize that when you stop on them, when you focus on them, when you play a phrase and you hit them, they have a juiciness to them. So let's continue, and I'm going to add a little bit of the minor 7 into it. Here we go. Oh, that's the wrong pedal. That was my distortion. That what I'm doing there, all I'm doing is I know those arpeggios, I know what they have to offer, I know that ones, flat 3s, 5s, and flat 7s are going to sound good to hold on to because they want to move and resolve in that 1 and they want to keep going. So now what do we do? Well, we have the form 1, we use a never lost pentatonic to connect it to the form 4. Hope you're enjoying this and it's not too much. And then what we're going to do is you're going to take the form 4 and you're simply going to use the rest of the never lost pentatonic to connect it back to a form 1 octave higher. But it's really simple. You know, here on the 9th fret, excuse me, you have the form 4 pentatonic, and it's on the chart. That note, highlighted to show you, it's just really just going through the form 5. And then once you get there, you put your first finger there and you go back to the form 1. And again, this is on the chart. And we're going to use this. Once we get to the form 1 again, we're going to use the same exact, mindset. Pentatonic, chord tones, extended chord tones, minor 7s. And then we're usually going to end, the way I end it usually is I'll take this flat 7, which is on the 17th fret, and bend it up to the 1, and then come down, end it on a root note, and come back to the jam. So let's see if I can do everything. Again, it's on this piece of paper, and you can do this in any key, but it's form 1, pentatonic, chord tones, never lost. Form 4, pentatonic, chord tones, never lost. Form 1, pentatonic, chord tones. And this is just like study the sheet and blow the pants off everyone you're playing with or watching, or who is watching you. Here we go. And there we go. So now we have a huge minor path, a track, and the better you get at this, again, I can sit and do this forever, you can get better finales where you're holding that and get down. I just chose to do it nice and simply. The point is you can do this in any key at any time. If I did this in A, the thing still works. If I did it in C, it still works. So I just want to give you the wrap up here. If you want to impress yourself and impress people and give yourself some movement on the guitar and feel confident about it, there's a simple task. You start in a form 1, you use the chord tones, you travel through the never lost pentatonic, you get to your form 4 up here, and you use your pentatonic, you use your chord tones and learn them physically and mentally and what they say and what they do. Then you move back to the form 1 of the octave where you started, and you solo and you end on a high note, and then you get back to the jam, or you hand the jam off to someone else and everyone claps and you go yay, and that's the whole mission of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Glad to be back. I definitely will talk about my new guitar because this thing is awesome. Thank you again to Fred, and thank you all for being here. Hope you enjoyed it. Let the questions begin. We have 2 days to ask questions in the comments, and I will answer them on the live feed. Looking forward to seeing you all again Thursdays, 7:30 Eastern Standard on my channel. Rock and roll, guys. Bye-bye.